Short back again. Today we're going to take a look at one of the really neat new features in the June 2017 release of Qlik Sense. For this, I've basically got a really teeny data set. I've got a hospital field and I've got some values. Big doggone deal, right? What I can do is I can go into a bar chart. I can add the hospital as a field. I can take the value and say, hey, I want to do a sum of that. And so by default, I get these counts like this, or I could come down and say, hey, no, wait a second here, Jack. I don't want you to just default this. I want you to color it by dimension. And you'll see out of the box, it kind of picks this color template scheme that I have for how I'm going to color this. I could also, of course, come down here and do an expression to forcefully pick colors for that. We don't want to do that because when I do that kind of thing, I have to change that every single chart. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do the exact same thing down here. I want to say, hey, I want the hospital and I want the value, the sum of the value field. And down here, maybe if I came to colors, I could turn that off and say, hey, I don't want to do it by dimension, I want to do it by measure. And in this case, it takes these measures and it does a heat map. And maybe that's what we're looking for as a heat map. I'm going to show you another way to do these colorings that would be a little bit more default for us. So for those, we would create master items. Let me do the measures first because that's a little bit easier to understand. I'm going to create a measure here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that value. I'm going to say I want the sum of it. And that is going to be my measure. And I'm going to say, hey, this is my total value. One of the things you'll notice immediately, I can pick the measure color instead. So I can say, man, I love purple. I've got to have purple for that measure. And here's how I would use that. If I were to create a KPI, guess what? Purple, hello. If I put this as a measure in a chart instead, and I say, I'd like the total value by hospital, guess what? Purple, hello, just default out of the box. And no matter how many times I were to reuse this measure, I'm going to get that standard Qlik color purple that matches my corporate official PR color scheme. Let's go, we're going to do the same thing for dimension. You could probably guess that. That's why we've got a box open here. I'm going to create a new dimension. It's going to be the hospital. I'm going to call it hospital name. You notice here that there's not a whole lot special. It comes up with a dimension color. I could pick a color for this, but I wanted to show you this from scratch rather than having it built because I want you to see what happens. I'm going to add this dimension. Okay. Ooh, gee, nothing's special. Well, guess what happens when I edit this though? If I open a dimension that's built, I get another tab here called value colors. And check this out. It comes out and says, hey, here's the standard colors. Now, I don't want that color scheme. I'd really rather have this 100 color scheme. You know what? Gosh, I don't like that. I need it to be just a little bit lighter. Oh, you know what? Gosh, I'm going to give you my actual corporate color scheme for these. And I could take this and I could pick something down in this range and I could change that to something really deep. And I can take these colors and do whatever it is that I want to with them and make them special so that they match something that I have to do. So I want all of my hospitals to be these colors. And you know what? Gosh, if I've got some others for some reason that get grouped, if I measured things, hey, you know what? I'd like those to be green. And hey, if there's a bar for null values, I want you to show that in a gray. And so now I can come here and I say, I want a hospital name. I want my measure. I want to do this. I don't want to confuse it with the purple. So I get it. Geez, it just did blue again. Doggone, I need it to be colored. Oh, yeah, that's right. For dimensions, we come down to color and we say, no, I want you to color it by the dimension. And you notice this time, guess what? Here's my beautiful Qlik palette of colors that matches my Qlik scheme. Okay, look, I picked random colors. They're horrible colors. But just to make sure that you had the point, you could predefine dimensional colors. If you use dimensions in a line chart somewhere, the lines would be that color if you say color it by the dimension. So if you've got a default palette that you always want used, and you don't want to constantly have to come to charts and change things and put expressions in for those colors, feel free to take advantage of this new coloring, this default coloring for both dimensions and measures. A great day.